Hey, you guys. All right, let's see if this one works. Hey, you guys. Does anything work? Hold on. I don't know how many there are of me.
Well, I don't know. Why? There's
Hold
two
on.
of you, but we're covered up.
I know. Can you still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes or no? Because I need to know which one I'm using.
I think I said I can't see because there's the picture up in front of us, and so I don't.
Shh.
The one
that doesn't impede your hearing. I need to know if you can hear me.
But I couldn't tell you which one of you was moving. Like which one was. I'm trying to see. Shut up. Okay. All I know is I'm here.
That's all I need. You and my dash man. Happy Valentine's Day, you guys. Oh, thank you, Nay. I appreciate you.
Hey, Nay. Watch me, Nay.
Dash just happy Valentine's Day to everyone. He looks very handsome. Mm-hmm.
Amanda Carol.
Here's Curly. Let's see. Let me go back up to the top so I can say. Jane Doe. Aussie True Crime. Hi, beautiful. It's been Jen Lou. We are the warm up for Jen Lou tonight because I'm telling you, she's got a hell of a show planned. I can't
Murdaugh thinks his tractor's sexy.
$10 Rich, funny. Jane Doe, Pointer Lover, my Nay. You guys, Nay's not feeling good. Send her some love, Curly Shirley. We love you. Thank you for being here. Guys, how was your day?
I like this as an appetizer. This is the appetizer.
We're the warm up. Allie,
yes. Thank y'all.
MK! Stop it. You got pulled over? You did not. Stop it. Hi, Mark. How are you?
Guys.
Amanda Carol. Amber Lou, what's going on? Did you guys have a nice day? Is that coffee? I see. I'm a little bit delayed, so forgive me. Hey, Braze. What's up?
Hold on. Well, it's really quiet over here.
Let's get popping.
I'm trying to find a place to put my plate. 1 second.
So I will take Dashy down now. You've all seen he's wished everyone a happy Valentine's Day. Dun, dun, dun. Now, I will take one of me down as soon as I realize which one of me is actually sharing and which one of me is actually speaking. I don't know which one that is. So for the moment, just ignore the other twin Tia up there, please and thank you. Because again, it's like mission control. I have 5. I'm not kidding. I literally have 5 screens going here. I cannot wait for my office to be done. But Murdaugh has missed so right. Okay.
Mhm.
Tia Dash is speaking. Tia is sharing. Good to know. See? All right. That's helpful. That is so helpful. Hot coffee. Murdaugh has me so enthralled that I can't. Now it's come to the point where while I'm folding laundry, I have to sit down and watch. Like I get sidetracked. Come on now. And today was just for me especially good. I don't know why. We started out with Dr. Reamer, who she just gives me Doc from Back to the Future vibes. I love her. I do. I think she's like the crazy scientific lady who can just explain everything so well. And she was not having it today. She was not having it. They were not going to make her say something that wasn't true or something that she did. She was not having that nonsense. And I'm sure Jen Lou is going to go through that stuff with you. She's doing a roast tonight on her channel, I believe at 9 p.m. Hi, Chemistry Queen.
I'm pumped
So
for that one.
I know, me too, because a Jen Lou roast is needed. It's been long enough. Hi, Vanessa. It's been long enough. You're having poutine for dinner? Oh my goodness, cinnamon rolls. Good for you. That sounds awesome. That sounds really awesome.
Luxurious. It is Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Mine too, Shirley. And it took me about Maggie's sister. I had to do a double take because I thought she looked so much like Maggie.
She started yelling. Yeah, she started yelling, oh my God, it's like the mirror image. It really, I sure bet she has a ton of cats hot coffee. Listen, she literally cracked me up. At some points, Dr. Reamer cracked me up, like out loud laughing because they were, in case you didn't watch her this morning, they were referencing a book that was talking about at close range pew-pews. You know what I was saying? And so they were referencing this book, and she was like, yes, that I get that book. It's a great reference, you know, blah, blah, blah. But that's not what happened here. And that is not really what we're talking about. And he kept taking her down this path, and she was not having it. She was not, she was like, nope. Crazy was all. I loved every second. Yeah. Ooh, Baba Jan.
I owe someone $5.
Oh, okay. Right? Curly Shirley, right? Dr. Professor lady. I thought the world of her. I was like, hey, cool. Okay, cool. But I just loved how she was like, yeah, no, yes, that's a good reference, but that is not the case here.
But it doesn't apply to this one.
And she kept answering, and he'd say just yes or no, and she's like, can't. You could see her like, I can't yes or no this. This is not a yes or no. I don't know. I enjoyed her thoroughly. She taught me a lot today. I thought she was very interesting. The GM specialist, I loved him. Oh, gosh. I loved him. The guy that came on and said, you know, there's 3 Excel spreadsheets on the 2021 Suburban, which is Alex. And the three Excel spreadsheets contain battery information, GPS and speed. And on that GPS speed one is longitude, latitude, and speed. And then there's a diagnostic. So it shoots straight to GM. They have all this information. I just thought that was cool. He didn't talk about it. Hi, Thumb Thug. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. A teenager's Valentine's Day. I have comments about that, but I shall refrain. God bless you. God bless you, Thumb Thug. But thank you so much for being here. It really does mean the world that you're here. But anyway, the GM guy, I thought he was pretty cool. Kind of went through some things, and we're going to talk about shifting gears shifting gears. But before we get into that, I kind of want to talk about the hose situation, and I want to talk about Maggie's sister Marion.
Mm-hmm.
What? Tell me your thoughts on Maggie's. I want to hear from chat too. Like, was that not? That was hard.
I think this set. Well, once I realized, like, I had to just. If that was hard for me to look at, I can't imagine sometimes, like Alex sitting there to look up to see someone who looks so similar to his wife, and just. I hope it was uncomfortable for him, and I do think the biggest thing that kind of stood out to me that my first thing I think of is her just being like, he wasn't worried about finding anybody, or he wasn't worried about being in danger, or something happening after, now that they're gone. He's not now, like, there was no fear of this unknown person.
Curly Shirley, that was the best thing. She was so truthful. She really was. And that had to be, like, we're talking about how painful it was to see her. Imagine being her and being on the stand and having to talk about your sister, and having to just all the things that go along with that heartbreak.
And the other thing I thought of was her, that I believe, didn't she say that Maggie had said that, yes, Alec was wanting her to come to Moselle, and that Marion kind of encouraged her to go. Was that correct? Like,
that's what broke her heart, was she was the one who was like, I was the one who talked her into it. Yeah. Yeah. Because she called and said, Alec wants me to come home and Paul's going to be there. And I think she feels a type of responsibility that I just, so much. There's so much heartbreak for me to see. Do you think that Alex tricked her? See, I don't think that he tricked her. I don't. But Alec wanted to clear Paul's name instead of trying to fight hot coffee. Okay. So that takes me down a whole thing, because that pisses me off so bad. And I think that is one of the biggest statements to his character thus far, was from Paul's aunt, who, I did take, and I have listened to the murmurs of the media about Paul and his behavior, and she really spoke very highly of him. And so did Anthony, his friend, Mallory Beach's boyfriend. There's something to be said for those two people speaking very highly of Paul. And I kind of want to acknowledge that and say, maybe the kid wasn't as bad as, maybe he was just mixed up. He hasn't been portrayed in the most pleasant, hi Texas Tiffany, hook him in. He hasn't been portrayed in the best light. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't really portrayed him in the best light. Hey, Angela, I wonder if, I don't know. It just, so, hang on, let me get myself situated here. I don't know. It's heart-wrenching. The whole thing is just heart-wrenching. But one of the things that LFT and I had talked about yesterday, and I was kind of quick to be like, I shut it down. And now I'm pissed, because she's so right. And I need to always tell her how right she is when I screw up. And I do it publicly for a reason, because behind the scenes I was like, I don't know about this hose business, and I'm going to let her tell you. But the first thing I wrote down today was LFT. And I'm actually going to show you guys. I'll turn on the camera. I'm going to figure out which camera is me. There's me. Hi, me. Peeps. Hi. I don't know if you guys can see that. It says LFT was right. It's the first note I have. LFT is right about the hose. I literally had to write that down, because I was like, I cannot forget to discuss this, and I can't forget to tell her It's super important. Hi, by the way. Look at my smoking hot bestest right now. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes. My Valentine's gift to y'all is not turning the camera on.
Yeah. I did it. I'm good. I did it.
I know.
What else? It just I don't know. It's I did. I did put it in writing because she was right. And I want her to tell you and show you what she's talking about, because it was actually really interesting. And then I was kind of like, no, it's wrong color. I don't really see it. I feel like they would have another hose over here. I poo-pooed it. So I apologize. You were right. And you were so right that they talked about it today. And I want you to take and tell them what you were telling me and show them what you were showing me. Because I think it's valid.
I'm trying to remember exactly how that went yesterday, because I'll be really honest, I had my stuff going on today, so I didn't get to hear that part about the hose. And
well, tell me your thought process behind what you were thinking, and I'll fill you in.
Because it was something along the lines of, I was like, I'll have to talk this through. It was like I called you and I was like, this is going to sound crazy, but we got to go back through the dog video and the footage of law enforcement arriving. I go, I think the hose, there's a difference in the hose, the plate, like, and you were, and then I can't remember, and so I looked at some pictures, and there are two separate hoses, which is what Tia helped clarify, fill me in on a little while ago, is that there were actually two of them. And I guess maybe my line of thinking kind of had been right, because I was like, they're all up, they're all put away. But there's the sound of the water in the in the dog video. And I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't add up. I was like, why did the scene shouldn't change from the dog, from nothing besides the devastation of Paul and Maggie should have been any different by the time Ellie got there, and what was visual on their cameras, and then what we'd seen and heard. Like, nothing should be different except for the two victims. That's it.
Right.
But I was like, I think the hose is put up.
Right. You hear the hose, and then you hear the hose then she was looking at the pictures of the crime scene. Do you have those pictures? Can you pull them up by chance?
Yeah, let me get them.
Because I think it's really important to show. I'm in the drive. Well, I don't know which mouse to use. I don't know which computer to use, and I certainly don't know where I am. So maybe it's better.
Hold on. Let me sign in. Sorry, y'all, 1 second.
But I think it's very valid on the hose. The hose.
I don't know. Okay. Let me slide out of LFT one and go into our Murdaugh one. 1 second.
And Allie, it's Alec, but spelled Alex. They call it, but he goes by Alec.
Okay.
Oh, you know it had to go on screen, MK.
Nerd.
He's all about those.
But I didn't think about it much though after we talked yesterday, when I mentioned it yesterday, and we kind of looked at, and you're like, because you kind of, not in a bad way, but was pointing out, hold on, you might not be right, and showing me why. And then once you showed me, I was kind of like, actually, okay, maybe not. I was just overthinking it.
No, you weren't. It was a great observation. And that's why I really wanted to, and he can't admit to it while looking at those. Yes, I know. See, he's
too just logistical talking about things. There's no emotions. I think if anyone heard our conversation, please, if y'all didn't see it, go watch Jen Lou's live from last night with Kate Does Crime was on there as well, and tons of people in chat. But it was such a good discussion about, just all. I don't.
Go
was
watch
so
Jen
good.
Lowe's from last night. Don't do
Yeah.
it right now, please. But
But
if
definitely
you
please
wouldn't mind
re-reference
doing it,
that.
yeah. Do
Okay, I'm
Jen
in the
Lowe.
drive.
Okay, do you have pictures of where you were showing me?
I'm working so hard on it. I do on my
You're
phone
coming.
from when
Oh my God, I forgot to change does again. Dios. Dios
What?
goes with the Heos. I had so much fun last night. We had such a good discussion. It was so truly. First of all, Jen Lou's the best host. She's so sweet, and she has such a great chat over there. You guys got to go check it out. I'm sure that you've already been there, but in case you haven't, in case you fell and bumped your head and don't remember something, the word case studies. Go and watch last night. It was LFT and Jen Lu just were on point. It was so good.
Okay.
You were not out of the loop, chemistry queen. We are speculating that is not a hard and fast thing. LFT came up with this, we'll call it a theory, if you will, that the hose was, they had just, you heard the water in the Snapchat video, right? Where Paul's
or
got
the not the Snapchat, but
I'm sorry.
Just the video on his phone that he was doing.
The video to Rogan, right? Is that what it is? Not Snapchat.
Yeah.
Because there's 2 videos and I inadvertently always screw it up. So this is his friend Rogan, his dog Cash. Something wrong with his tail. They were taking a video to send it to Rogan. And in the background you hear Alec, Maddie, obviously Paul, and you hear water running. You hear him yell, Bubba, it's got a chicken. It's chicken. Bubba.
I mean,
oh, Alec, how you're going to be screaming Bubba for the next 30 years. It's beautiful. I don't think it's going to be the same, though. Oh, Bubba, come here. That's going to be your go-to song.
Which one did I send you? I'm in our drive. Like, I can share the screen because it's just our drive.
I don't know.
Of it. I'm in the Moselle. Was it the Moselle crime scene one? Did I put it in there?
It could be. See, this is breaking news.
It was the picture. Is it the one where we can see Maggie on the ground?
I don't want to share that one. That one's too rough. That one's too much.
Yeah. But I think you can tell where the hose is all wrapped up over there too. The other one, Tia, that second one.
Can we show the second one? That doesn't have anybody, right? I trigger warning on the Maggie one. I don't want to show that. That's just disrespectful.
See, I mean, I won't even point out Maggie. I'll point out the hose. How about that?
Well, you can see Maggie.
Like,
That's what I don't.
I mean, you can see Maggie, but the hoses are both put up. Wait, the truck, the one where we can see Maggie in the photo, unfortunately, the truck, one of the cars, law enforcement cars, is blocking the area where you could see the hose, but we could see it on the body cam. But Tia, that one right there next to the hanger, or like at the edge of the hanger, is perfectly rolled back up again.
Let's do Pharaoh. We can do Pharaoh. Right?
Yeah, I say just show whatever we need to. The pictures are out there.
I understand.
Yeah. But be respectful to you. Okay, here we go. I did it where we can't see her. I took her out of it.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, share when you can.
This is one of them. Share screen. Sorry, y'all. And I just realized I moved really far away from the phone. My bad. I mean, from the mic.
It's not going to show what we want. Okay, thanks, Jen Lo. I appreciate that.
You see what I did?
Hold on. Yep. I'll see what you did. Okay, cool. Let's go full screen on that. Okay, so perfect. This is exactly what I was talking about. So it's to the left here. You see that green hose? she was pointing out to me that there's another hose behind, see that where that truck is over on the right hand side, where the truck is to the right hand side there. Is that a
I
truck
believe
or is that
that's when law enforcement's truck that this like the red piece, that's a piece of their equipment,
equipment, right?
Property. The vehicle that we can actually see is one that's actually the car that he walked, that the officer, I believe Officer Green walked to carrying and put the rifle or the shotgun, the shotgun that Alec had on him in that passenger. I believe it was that vehicle that he walked up to. And remember when he opened the passenger door and put it in? That's the one. But there's a hose on this side, I believe, as well. Mm-hmm. But there also is that green plant too. So just for the record.
Well, that's what I thought it was, a green plant. And it's actually a yellow hose. So here's the point of the whole story. Going back and forth, I saw this green hose here and we were like going back and forth because I was like, okay, so my first thought is this amount of money, they got more than one spigot, right? Mm-hmm. They got more than one hose. This is ridiculous. And that part I was right on. Now, hi, chick. His body was approximately to the right, about 20 feet away. That's where his body was lying. Mm-hmm. But the point of the whole,
right over here.
The point of the whole thing is, did somebody use the hose to like clean themselves off? Don't know. Mm-hmm. Just throwing it out there to see if it sticks. And I thought that was an interesting point. And then I was like, no, because the hose is rolled up nicely. And so we were just talking this through, right? Mm-hmm. Well, come to find out there's a second hose, this yellow hose, which is behind this truck. And I will show you. You're very welcome, chick. We will show you that. But what was talked about today with Roger Dale Davis, he was the dog caretaker. He would come twice a day and clean the crates. I was going to call them stalls.
Kennels.
Kennels, sorry. Horse person. Clean stalls. Clean stalls. Clean kennels. But he would clean the kennels. He would take care of the dogs in early morning and the late afternoon. And one of the things that they were talking about was how specific he was with the hose and how messy the hose was put back. Yellow hose, I believe he was talking about here, right at the dog kennels. And he was kind of miffed off by that because that is not how he puts it back. And he was insistent on the fact that he put it back very, every time the same way. And he did not divert from that ever. And he's right. And there were puddles. I think it was to clean himself off too, hot coffee, but that's speculation, Your Honor. So we're going to do an objection. Hi, Rescue Mom. I don't know. I think that's okay. Better.
Yeah. Was that a little bit better? Sorry, I was doing that for.
I think that is that shows you without being too graphic. Yeah. Why would he be so concerned about it? So concerned about the hose? Because it was is that what you're asking, hot coffee? I'm going to assume that's what you're asking. Because when a dog caretaker, we're going to call him a caretaker. I don't want to belittle the man. I thought the man was kind of sweet and sort of lovely, but
I consider him like property management in his role.
I really he was meticulous about how he took care of things. Like every day, he had a routine, which you could see in his mind. He is coming in, he's lifting the dog, and he's emptying the water buckets. He's making sure that the water's clean. They asked, was Alec, was he meticulous? Oh yes, very meticulous. Was he easy to reach? No, he was not easy to reach. So this guy had to make sure that he had his shit together, basically, is what I took from that. MK said that Alex didn't like the hose being left out when he was more particular about the hose. Right. And he didn't want kinks and tears in it, which again, I think that was, first of all, I think it was respectful to the homeowner. I'm just going to say that. And two, I think it speaks volumes to his work ethic. Okay, so those are the two things that I went through my head. I was like, oh, okay, cool. This he takes his job seriously. And I loved that about him. Now, the hose is everything. If you don't put a hose back correctly, it ruins the hose. It gets kind of right, which eventually turns into cracks. Jen Lo, exactly. And this guy was so, like I said, oh, you have so much to say on the hose. Jen, do you have a second to come up? I'd love to hear. I'll drop the link for you.
Yes, please. And I would love that.
I will absolutely drop the link for you if you have a moment, because if you have a lot to say, I truly would love to hear it. I'm going to drop the link. Kinks my phone, change the word. There's a link for Jen Lo. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Because I want to hear what you have to say, because I think you and LFT are probably on the same page as that, and I got to learn something new. So I always live for that.
Yeah, that's why I was like, still help me kind of remember, because I do apologize. I had kind of a crazy day, and so I haven't.
Yeah, but you still know this better than like the back of your hand. So it's amazing. I
just like talking it through at the end of the day.
I do too. Melissa Jade, happy Valentine's Day. Look at you. Look how cute she is.
Yes. I was in the car earlier and I was actually listening to Melissa Jade, and I wanted to be sure to actually say that. Sorry, I did not get to comment in your chat, but I was listening to you as well as to Allie about that. I didn't know about the whole Banfield stuff in the Idaho, so that was really interesting. Just wanted to, but I hearted it. I thumbs it up.
She hearted it.
I hearted it. I hearted it. Hips.
You're celebrating Independence Day. I love that for you, Rescue Mom. Hey, whatever this means to you, I love that for you. All right, I gotta get.
And hold on. Would anyone else be interested in this while we're waiting to talk about the hose and the?
Hang on one second. Hey, Jen, is that you? I'm gonna add you.
And it is.
Right on. Here you go.
Okay.
Hey, girl. Hey. I'm gonna stop.
Hi.
Things are coming up last minute like this. Appreciate
no problem. The hose is everything, and I don't think that the prosecution played that hose enough. Like, I don't think they gave it the proper credit it was due. Oh crap! I gotta hold on. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna.
Oh, you're fine. You're.
I agree. I think that. Oh, I don't know what's going on here, but this has me enthralled. K-Braze, Melissa Jade, are we still having a
wait? I think I actually know what that means.
I don't, but
Oh wait. Oh, I thought it was about like her doing her Tuesday trivia thing. Never mind. My bad.
Oh, LFT.
Crap. Oh my God.
I'm all excited. I know what it's about. I know what it's about. Bless her heart.
She said it's about the silly. It's about the trivia silly. Tuesday trivia is where it's at, man. Oh, Rescue Mom, we love you. Go right ahead, ladies. I'm going to mute myself so you two can talk this hose. Listen, you talk your hose.
You start mapping out that you work on the gear stuff, and we'll keep talking about hose.
Yeah. The hose is everything. People don't understand about this hose.
I think the hose and the gear shift. I think hose and gear shift show little details that people might not be picking up on.
It sounds like an amazing Saturday night for some people.
And what do I always say? The devil is in the details. It's always in the details. So, okay. So, LFT, I think, is on the same page with me as the whole. I have always suspected that Alec rinsed himself off over there by the kennels prior to going into the house, as to not track anything from the crime scene into the home. The reason the hose is important is because this man was specific about doing it and the way he did it. And the reason he was specific is because, okay, in the overall scheme of things, hoses are not incredibly expensive, but the truth of the matter is when you don't have a lot of money and you do get things, you learn to take care of them so they last you a long time. And hoses that are not rolled up correctly, especially ones that are in the sun, will get kinks in them. They get tears, they get cracks, and there goes your hose. So you need a hose. And he was meticulous about putting it away just so. The problem is, not only was the hose not put away the way that he did it when he left Moselle June 7th, there were dogs not put back where they had been originally. Dogs were moved.
Okay.
And on top of it, there were puddles where there ought not to be puddles. That was the big takeaway. That's the significance of the hose. Also, on Cross, really what they were trying to do is blame Paul for the lack of correct hose put away. But that can't be, and I'm going to tell y'all why. Because if you listen to that video that he was intending to send to Rogan, the hose is going in the background. Paul cannot be using the hose because he's standing inside Chase's pen. Notice also, look at the floor. Chase's pen is not
It
wet.
was dry. It was dry.
Not only that,
Cash or
Cash.
okay.
What's his name?
Cash.
Cash. Okay, why do I think his name is Chase?
I don't know, but I was like, oh my God.
dog?
Rogan's dog. Yeah, it's Cash.
Okay, Cash. Cash is,
Cash
I
the
don't know why.
chocolate lab.
yes, okay, Cash. All right, so sorry, my bad. You know how I am with names. All right, his crate or his pen is not wet. And Cash, there is an empty crate between Cash and where Bubba stays. So you can't, so that hose was already on. For what? I can't tell you because it had nothing to do with Bubba getting a chicken. Because when they came outside, that's when they noticed Bubba's got a chicken. That's a guinea. No, that's a chicken. Okay, that whole conversation. So why is the hose on? Paul wasn't using it. Maggie sounds like she had just walked over to that area. And Alec, this is another thing. I think, and that Alec was over by the hose.
So do I.
Because if you listen to that video, he's moving and he's getting further away. And obviously his voice is going to come from behind Paul because of the way the phone is, and also Paul's inside of a pen. But he's far behind Paul, which I think that he's on the other side of that feed door. You know how that feed room has two doors.
That's exactly
That's
what
where I think. That's exactly right. And I'm just
Like,
going
he
to
was
say
further
this. I
down
think
the
the
line.
pew-pews happened right there. I think that's
but he's
where
further down the
person
line of
was.
the kennels, right?
Yes.
Like, I mean,
Yes.
Paul was.
yeah.
Yes.
And that's exactly what
Yes.
I said, that you sneak up. So he's coming from that direction, could maybe have even scooted to his right a little bit in terms of approaching it and doing the first pew shot thing. But yes, coming up from that direction. So that I just was like, wait a minute, we're all talking about that was the hose because he's slightly further away, and it almost sounds kind of like echoey because you're still on that pavement and the and the iron, the metal and iron from the gates and stuff. Like, you can hear a difference between being under under a hanger on grass and sand and the travel. It just
the way the sound carries. And then I can't take credit for this. This came from Kate, but she talked to somebody, and I'm going to let her spill that tea because, but Kate, and this is something Kate and I have mulled over many, many times. We think that Paul was trying to escape the ambush from the other side, going towards the kennels, not from the behind, because there's two doors to that feed room. We think that Alec came in that back door of the feed room. And that's why Paul is halfway in and halfway out, because he's trying to get away. The first shot hurt and wounded him, but he kept moving. And then he was shot again. That's what we think. It was an ambush.
Somebody go fetch Kate. I need Kate because I need to hear I need you to say that over without divulging any information that Kate's going to divulge, because I never want to do that. But
I don't know if she's going to divulge it or not, but I just don't want to say anything.
I don't blame
you.
you.
Chooses to.
I want to say that. I agree.
Yeah. I don't 100%. Like to be that person.
But just repeat what you just said without giving any, because I need to go through that again slowly in my head.
Kate and I think, and we've talked about this publicly, so I know I can say this. Kate and I think that Alec came through the back door to the feed room, because there's the two doors. There's the one that's in between the kennels, and there's the one that's on the other side.
Okay. If you'll share my screen, if I can share it, I can. I think I found a good picture that will help illustrate what Jen's talking about.
Okay, yes. Just give me 1 second. I'm just writing. I'm so sorry. I'm not good at this.
Sorry, Jen. I was trying to give a visual too for you.
No, no. We need to see a visual. It's hard for me to describe accurately.
Hi, Mrs. Karen. Nice to see you. Let me know when you're ready. Oh, there it is. I see. Okay, got you. Can you guys see that?
Let's see.
Oh, Kate has a hot date right now. Thanks, Thumb Thug.
There's right. Jen, is this where the second door is? That the door frame right here that you're talking about?
I thought that was a window. Oh,
no, yes, over there. That's the door. But there is a second door. If you look at the blueprint there is a second door.
Okay.
There are two doors to the feed room. Okay. Kate and I think that Alec came from the back door there, not the door we're looking at, but there's another door. Okay. We think he came from that door. All right. And
oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Shot him. Did he turned to look, but he also kept going. That's why he fell halfway in and halfway out of the feed room, because he was trying to escape. And then all four of us said last night, we think Maggie heard the shots and started towards that area, because you lose all common sense when your kids are involved.
Yes.
And she would have gone towards the danger because it was her son. And that's when she was hit.
Okay. And that would explain the forward facing, like being shot, those first two.
Yes.
Okay. And even her wrist shot, that would make sense.
Based on what the pathologist testimony was, this is what makes sense to me. And at the end of the day, both Maggie and Paul saw who shot them. They knew.
So I am looking at this picture, and the first kennel there's a doorway. You're saying he came through that doorway?
No. No. See, Paul. See where the one is? That's where Paul is. Paul is in between that doorway.
Right. Where's the second door?
It's behind the first door. So we're looking. It's to the right.
Oh.
There is a back. There is. It's either it's obviously to the right or to the left. And now I can't remember, because I looked at the damn diagram this morning, and then the hose thing came out. But there is two doors to that feed room.
Okay. Well,
and we think that he came through the other door, because the first and then there's Kate. Kate, get up here, babe, and explain our thinking.
Oh my God, please.
If you want to.
Only if you feel comfortable, Kate. We don't want you to just come home from Din Din.
Am I missing a door right now in this area? I see the window.
Okay, so I believe that on the other side of that window, behind,
Yes.
it's behind the building. There
So that's
is a
where we have
door.
I'm going to look for Farrah once if Kate decides. Kate, I dropped a link for you.
Okay. I didn't
sorry, tell him all the things, Kate.
To the
Just
left from the view of the screen, you can see the outline of the other. That's what I thought too.
That's what I thought.
No,
it was. No, wanted to
that's what I thought as well. Yeah, Kate.
Kate can better explain it if she wants to, as far as where the actual door is and what she learned. I didn't tell him that part, Kate.
Yeah,
I would never do you dirty like that, babe.
No. And I mean, that can be saved for her live.
Yeah.
If she wants to do that, we want to be respectful. But I do want to hear her thoughts of coming in if she can swing that without giving away too much of her stuff. I'm interested because the light bulbs just went off like you wouldn't. I'm like a flat. I'll be up in a few. I just asked my friend.
Okay.
Oh, Kate, look at you.
Okay, see, I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, that's what we were talking about because there's 2 doors.
Okay. Damn, that's what I see. And I didn't want to say anything either because I don't want to talk too much about it until Kate comes up. But
yeah,
that was the shells was the thing right there where the marker is.
Yes.
That got me. And that's
because you couldn't shoot from this side, you couldn't shoot approaching this way to have that shell.
Hey, can you put the diagram back up?
Here's the problem. The reason why I think that he came the way he did is because he's trying to not hit those dogs. I know that's messed up and I know that sounds weird, but I think that's why. The other thing that we need to know, all right, is who got the chicken from Bubba? Who, and when did they get it?
Where is it? Where they throw it out? Like, did they?
Okay.
Chuck it?
Hold on. Let me get my comment off the screen here.
I never even thought about that, Jinlu, about thinking about where did the object was in his mouth? Where did it go?
Right. Because everybody, including Dale, said, maybe I misunderstood Kate and thought that because that's a window where it says storage room, and then if you look, that is implying a window, but I could have sworn there's one that has a door.
I think there's a door. My thought was there was a door like right here. I was thinking it was like right here because when we're looking at that picture, facing inwards into the room, and we see the window right here, it looks like there's a door frame, like right behind the golf clubs.
Yes.
That are right. That would be like right here. And then it was almost like you could enter and walk out the backside, almost behind the.
I also think that he called Paul to him.
Oh my God!
Because think about it, this is the other thing that's
what I thought, Kate. I thought the same thing. Maybe the door connects to the kennels there. That's what it appears. But I didn't want to. I don't want to. Like I said, I don't want to.
That's really interesting.
Because I could not. I mean, obviously they keep the dog food in the feed room. That's where it would go, right? But what I did not realize is until Dale was there on the stand, he only feeds the dogs twice a day. But Grady, Bubba, and Maggie, they eat 3 times a day.
Okay.
So I thought maybe what
their dogs eat like Bubba and Grady are in. I'm assuming the dog Maggie or the human.
Yeah, the dog Maggie. Okay. I mean, I don't know how many times the human Maggie eats, but the dog Maggie eats 3 times a day.
I was making sure.
That confused me too that they have a dog named Maggie.
That would make sense though, like their dog, like they're the Murdaugh family dogs that they use for hunting and stuff too. But that their dogs could potentially have a different feeding schedule than other people that keep their dog at the kennel. Like Cash probably eating twice a day.
Right.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's logical. I can get, okay, yes.
See, because the way that
I wonder if it was feeding day for the, was it dinner time for the Murdaugh dogs?
okay, I would think, quite honestly, that if they ate at what time did Dale say he gets there in the morning? Like 6:30 or 7, I think he said, or maybe earlier than that.
Very early in the morning, yes.
And then
3:30.
Yeah, 3. He's done doing everything he needs to do for the day at the Murdaugh house he's home by 4:30. In the shower by 5 and in the recliner the rest of the day. I remember for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So 7 and 3. K-Bray said. All right. So they eat every 4 hours. So I'm thinking they must have already eaten for the third time
Mm-hmm.
by 8:50.
Mm-hmm.
So were they?
So I don't know what Paul would have been doing in that feed
Or were
room,
they-
to be quite honest.
Or were they going, like, was it just like, hey, y'all, let's all go feed the dogs? Maybe they, for some odd reason, like, they just went, like, the fam, just like, hey, mom, dad, I'm going to run over and feed the dogs. And I'm like, well, we'll go, Or Maggie was like, I'll go with you. But obviously Alec did too. So otherwise, why would all three of them be out there if it wasn't to
Because I
either feed
think
the dogs?
Maggie actually enjoyed the dogs. I think
Mhm.
if she's going to be there, I think that's her one. She's not particularly fond of being there. So the one thing that she's going to do while she's there is play with the dogs because she likes. That's just where I was going with it, but that's not. I mean, I
Did
don't
Bubba
know.
ever stay in the house? Did Bubba or Grady or Maggie ever
None
stay?
of the dogs stay in the house because they have allergies,
Okay.
but they would stay on the back porch.
Okay.
I'm going to have to go back and watch Dale's testimony because I am almost positive he had a routine.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he would feed them, feed the chickens, come back and hose down the pens.
Okay.
And
the pens look like they've
Katie-
kind of been hosed down.
but Katie is saying that the hunting dogs ate once a day, and Maggie and Alec's personal dogs ate twice a day.
I believe that's correct.
But I could have sworn when I listened to, because I remember being shocked and thinking, how are they feeding the other 3 dogs in front of the other dogs? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I think what they did sometimes is brought I'm going to call them the family animals, if you will, up to the house at night, and they slept on the back porch. Now, why? Okay, the Pharaoh video does show the hose, by the way.
And
it's very faint, but you can see it. I'm trying to see if you
right,
can.
but what I'm saying is whether it's 2 times or 3 times, right? Whether
Mhm.
the family, either way, at some point during the day, they're eating and the other dogs are not. Either way you look at it. So, and Dale is the one doing it, which is, I'm not blaming him. I'm just, and honestly, dogs get used to what dogs get used to. It is, I couldn't do it. I know that you have to keep hunting dogs. You have to treat them differently. I couldn't do it, I just couldn't.
I agree.
I couldn't do it.
Hang on a second. I'm inside the I'm going to share this video in 1 second. I live for this Pharaoh video, by the way. I watched.
All right. Rescue Mom says the hunting dogs only ate once a day and the other dogs ate twice.
No back door there. No door there. I don't know that there is another door in there. Son of a bitch.
Maybe I just misunderstood.
I hate that because that would make so much sense to me. I'm going to share this video though.
he was standing on the other side of
Mhm.
the door where or where Paul couldn't see him. I mean, that storage room isn't all that
Mhm.
big, and it does look to be cluttered.
Yes.
But regardless, the shots it looks like the shots came from inside of that
Agreed.
Mhm.
storage room. Either way.
100% agreed with that. I'm going to show you. We'll just start from the beginning because Pharaoh. Oh, we'll come back.
You know what it is? I don't know if it's a door. I don't think it's a door. I think I just
It's
figured
not a
out.
door.
It's not a
the
door.
framing.
It's the framing of the. It's
You're going to
Mm.
see it in just a minute.
Yep.
You're going to see it in just a minute. But they are so interesting. And I'm glad we have this to double, triple check ourselves because I really.
But I know for a fact that I'm right about the hose.
I know
that I
you are
know
too.
for sure.
100%.
No.
And
Maybe
I
I'm
back
not.
you.
And by the way, I just saw the first pill bottles yet related to this entire case, and it's clearly
There's
the
hose
vet
number 1
animal.
on the left there, by the way. But
And
that's
this
not
must
the
be
hose that
the
I was telling-
chickens. Is that where the
Right.
chickens are
Mhm.
kept?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the grapevines.
Mm-hmm.
You see the
What else
decoy-
is that out there?
You see the decoy.
Which part? That's
So where the
Maggie was.
grapevines are up, it looks like there's also something like some kind of other little coop or something where you keep things.
Okay,
Oh,
here we go.
there,
We're going inside.
Jin Lu, I think I've got the picture I can show you after. I think it is kind of like another little.
Did you see
Okay.
that?
Yes,
So
I
you see
did.
the frame
It's
of
very quick. It looks like
it's-
there was a door there and they
Mhm.
moved it.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like the frame.
And there's no longer a door.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the glass is shot out. So could he have shot through the window?
I
I need to see
I
if
think
the glass broke in or out.
That's what-
Actually,
I thought it
That's
broke
a-
out.
that's what they talked about the glass breaking. I don't want to say either way. I think you're right, LFT. I believe that we heard it broke out, but
So then
I'm
he
not-
couldn't have been in, he couldn't, well, if it broke from if it broke out and landed
Mhm.
outside, then he had to
Mhm.
have been shooting towards the inside, right?
Yes.
That's
yes.
what I think. Hey, Kate, welcome.
Let
Hey.
Kate explain it. She's better at this than me, Kate, but I didn't spill the beans, I promise.
Don't spill
So-
any beans that you're not comfortable spilling.
No,
Save
I
them
don't
for your
care.
channel.
My friend is he works with like guns on a regular basis. Like he's in the military. He's knows everything about guns. So I was like kind of confused when they were explaining everything today because I was like, at first I thought they came from inside, and then I was like, well, maybe they were outside of the kennels, and then I was like, well, now they're explaining again. It sounds like it's confusing because Paul was shot from the front, but then it sounds like
But
he
the shells
turned-
were inside,
yeah,
which
the
is
shells
why
were
I supported
inside,
what you said because I'm
Yeah.
like, mm-hmm.
and then he turned his head like back into the left as if somebody was behind him. So I think he was shot from the front, and then because it didn't hit any like vital organs or anything,
Mm-hmm.
I think he turned and tried to run, or like just turned, but was still like looking back. And then that's when they got him the second time. But he said with a shotgun, when after you shoot, the shells pop out to the right. So he's like, based on everything that I'm giving here, like it looks to me like if you look at the diagram where it says storage room, right where
Right.
like the double O to the word room, he put like an X like right there. It was like, I think he would have been standing right here, which would make sense. So I think maybe there's a door.
Okay, I got.
Wait, I'm.
Yeah.
If you'll
There
share
is
my
a door
screen-
that connects the
Can I-
kennels right there. I think he came in from the kennels into the storage room. That's
There's
the
no
sword
door
room,
there
right?
though.
Hold on.
Yeah, there's
There's
no
no door.
there, though.
That's not a door right there. So
No.
No,
we
See,
have-
that's
look,
what
here's the
this
better
is where I
picture
was
of it.
getting messed up, Kate, because I thought there was a door too, but it's not. It's
I
like
got
there
you right
was
here.
there
I
was
was
a
like,
door at one time. Okay, there was a door at one time, and it looks like it's been what is the word? Not plastered, but sheetrocked over.
Oh, really? Well,
Yes.
maybe they were just both. Okay, I'll get it for you 1 second.
My guess,
Maybe they
my
were
guess
just
is
both
there.
standing in there.
My
See,
thought
there's
is,
the
right,
window.
like,
There's the
for a
bullet hole
minute,
in the
this is when
window.
there's the window and the hole goes through. This is what I was thinking for a moment when y'all were thinking a second door.
What's
Like
that
this would be the
door
door
right there
frame.
then?
That's the
This
opening.
is the one. This is the opening one. It opens to the inside. It doesn't push out. Like that's what I said. It doesn't
that's
open
not to the
out.
tunnel. Oh.
And but what this is, my guess is, not only do you have like the 2x4 here, the 2x4 here,
It's the
there's another
framing.
2x4 right behind this door too, because it's the stilting is it's built in.
It's the framing
room.
of
It's the
it,
wall.
and that's exactly what they
Yeah.
have on the inside. When I showed the Pharaoh the inside of the lean-to shed.
Yeah, all doors open to the inside except for doors that are inside that are like closet doors, like your bedroom closet
Like a
doors
screen
open
door
out.
or something.
Your
Mhm.
your hallway closet.
Like
Those
you open
all
it in a.
Yeah,
right.
MK. The
Anytime
usually
you're
land around the 3 o'clock position, which would put him in the storage shed, like in front of where that fridge was, like right
Yep.
around there, and
Mhm.
then Paul walking out. So maybe there was like a gun on the wall and he grabbed it or something. I don't know, but he said, my friends, from the way that it looked, he was like, I'm telling you, like, just from being someone who shot guns, he's more than likely would have been inside of there and not from the outside.
Well, see, again, that makes sense to me because of where the shells are found.
Yeah, same.
I think
I get that. I can support that. I'm just trying to figure out how the mother trucker got in there. Like,
Because he came up from. Okay, here's
so
the door.
hold on. Actually, let me ask a question. It was within 3 feet, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
yes.
That's plausible. That is
So
plausible.
the barrel
in
of
that
the
little
gun
room.
could be further into the storage room area, like closer, obviously,
Dear God.
than
3
my thought
feet
is
or
that-
less from the barrel of the gun. And what's his name was trying to prove that it was on contact. He was trying to prove that it was even
Oh my
closer.
God, I was so
Where
sick.
is he
I was
going
so
with this?
annoyed with that. And the gases. Fuck your gases, poop.
I know.
Like, I don't know where he was trying to go with that, but I mean, that just solidifies it even more, in my opinion.
Dr. Reamer was not having it, and I was living for her. I just want to say that. Like, I was
When
like,
she said, I don't like that, because
Yeah.
he was
I'll
trying
be
to
right back.
reenact.
yeah.
I'm gonna help
Okay.
my kid real quick. I'll be right back.
I think
That was
that
my
whoever,
favorite part.
Me too. I
whoever it
loved
was,
it. She made 2 comments today. One was, I don't like that. And the other one is, I can't remember what it is now, but it was both of them. I was like, oh, she's spicy.
She said people can disagree, but that doesn't mean that they're right. You can
Didn't
have
he
a
call hearsay
reasonable
on his
argument.
own statement. Okay. I think you're right.
Griffin, that was a huge. Poot, didn't I tell you like last week? Stop letting Jim Griffin do the
Mhm.
cross examinations. He's
Mhm.
opened the door 5 times now. Stop it. I don't
Mhm.
even have a law degree, and even I knew when he asked that question, he was hosed.
Host,
Can I
get
show
it?
you? I
Did
think
you
the
hear that?
shooter at the pewer, excuse my approached this way, like was coming up like from this, like anywhere between this bay and the kennel, like kind of so walking up, and it's kind of at an angle though, because that would be why it's Paul's left side was more exposed, leaning out of the doorway, as where he
Okay.
fell. So the person, if someone is going to hit me and on my left side, have it come out the right, they are approaching me they got to be shooting kind of like from a kind of a right angle at me, because they're coming up. So the way he would turn and face point the gun would match the.
I know. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? The way the gun would need
Yes.
to be pointed would match where it would hit the direction it's facing. It would explain why Paul was kind of leaning. He's coming out of that pen and he's kind of leaning. He's kind of looking to his right, so his left's kind of more exposed because that
Right.
person is coming up from down from, not from the field to Paul's left, but to Paul's right. He's
Correct. That's what
Mhm.
I think.
And
This
then
is so
here
very
comes
messed up.
Maggie. Here comes Maggie to come check. Here's something. She's she starts coming.
I'm sorry.
She starts coming this way. The shooter is somewhere. This is me hypothetically and just generally. So she
Mhm.
comes running, the person is still standing here, turns, boom, 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 three, like to the, so she, that's forward. She starts, I just have to figure out how, but by the time she falls though, she's turned because her head is facing in the direction of Paul. And I think the person just kept coming around, boom, and got her that last shot.
MK, you're correct. Which is a whole nother, I don't even want to get into that Ballistics because I haven't figured that part out yet. I don't understand where you're stashing these and how.
Okay,
fast.
I thought about this. I thought about this and I also listened. So today during the break, I don't know his name. He's just a host. I shouldn't say just a host, but he is one of the hosts on Long Crime. It's not Jesse Weber, it's the other guy. But he's okay. So he was talking about it and he said that he can be theoretically carrying both pew-pews because you can hold the shotgun and the rifle has like a strap and that, and it's light. That's why they use it in the military is what he said. And that made sense to me.
And I think he could almost hold it and point. He doesn't have to have it up to his shoulder necessarily to let a few rounds fire.
No,
it could have been a hip shot. Did I hear that correctly today, or did somebody make that up, or did I hear that today in court? It could have been the shotgun, whatever. Could have been at the hip area.
No, I think the shotgun was where it needed to be, but I think with the rifle, he had it on his, like he had the carrying it like with the strap or whatever. And I think then once he unalived Paul, that's when he grabbed the rifle from off of his back. Like I don't think he took the strap off and fired that way.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So much worse. Okay, so let me just say that it is, it is so much worse than I even thought it was just by looking and talking through this tonight. Do you know what I mean? Like it is when you start putting together the within 3 feet, within the holy fuck.
But here's my other thing.
We're within 3 feet. That's crazy to me.
Yes, but
I
here's
always
my
thought Maggie was further away.
Right, I did too. I always thought that, that's what further away until the last few shots, right? But then at that point she was already down and probably not, I was hoping not aware of anything going on.
I was hoping that too, but I don't know if you heard the sister today. That was heart-wrenching about Maggie suffering.
Did hear her.
Oh,
that was such a crazy moment in court though, how that all went down.
I can't wait to talk about it and make fun of it.
I can't wait to hear you.
Oh my God.
Run.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
Oh, it was great. It was like the best moment in trial yet. Like
you tell Kate, because I always tell, and also because then this way I don't have to say the jokes.
If I missed anything, fill it. All right. So you know how like Jim Griffin or whatever, he's like a friend of the family. So it's already kind of like dicey that he's Murdaugh's lawyer, because it's
didn't they call Jim Griffin the night of, like, to confirm? Wasn't that what Marianne said? She called Jim Griffin.
Yeah. So they had her They had her up on the stand, and then they had her cross came up, and they had Jim do her cross, which was stupid. Like, everyone was kind of like shocked, like, why the hell are they having Jim do this? He's a family friend. Like, it just didn't seem right. Well, I forget like exactly what, like how it went down, but pretty much she was explaining that Alex didn't seem concerned about finding the killer, that he was more concerned about exonerating Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And that they were really bothered by it because they were terrified that, whoever killed, they thought it had to do with, well, she didn't say this yet, but she was like, we thought whoever, did it to them was going to get Buster next. And Alex didn't care about who did it. All he cared about was exonerating Paul. And then they were trying to be like, oh, well, why wouldn't you want to exonerate Paul? And it was a bad thing that he wanted to exonerate Paul. And she was like, no, but like,
But hashtag it always comes back to him, right?
Yeah, like I'm worried about my nephew's life. Like that's more important than exonerating Paul's name. He's already like dead. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then they kind of like asked her like, well, she was explaining that she didn't think, okay, I'll be right there. She didn't think Alex had anything to do with it at first. But then she was like, she thought it had something to do with the boat accident. Like that's initially what they thought. But like he basically asked the questions that led into her bringing up the boat accident and the side of the road incident. And she was like, yeah, but then everything changed in September, which was the side of the road incident. And then he was like, what changed in September? And everyone's like, no,
stop. Yeah, full stop moment.
Like, what are you doing? And then, they freaked out and took the jury out. And basically he starts freaking out and panicking, like, well, I didn't open the door, just like, and
oh my God, please tell me Harpoolian objected to his co-counsel. Please tell me that like Dick was like, I object. And they're like, dude, you're on the same team.
I think they objected at some point, if I recall. Like, they objected to, it might have been like later on after, but they definitely objected to like what he caused. You know what I mean? At some point. And
the jury had to get up. We had to stand up, sit down, fight again.
It was bad. So then Jim was trying to explain his way out of it. And then you could tell the judge is just like furious at this point. He's like, you opened the door, like, and even said to Jim, like, should you be a witness? Because he, like, you can tell he's starting to see the good old boy system going on, and that this man shouldn't even be Alex's lawyer, and that he's potentially a witness in the case because she called him
right
to find out what happened, and he was there the night that they were killed.
That's why I was like,
you want to know something else that's messed up about that whole situation? Harpootlian and Griffin represented Paul in the criminal case.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, he brought in Dick. I think Griffin was on it originally, and then he brought Dick on to help him.
Yes. Yes. And then here comes freaking Griffin.
So
for reals. He is just. I'm sorry. He's just fucking shut up, y'all.
Yeah, he called hearsay to his own counsel.
That was the best.
Okay.
It was horrible. I mean, it was like everyone was like, he did not, you know what I mean?
It was a shit. He was a whole ass shit show today.
Yeah,
and it was in the best way, though.
Like, look, she can testify to what
you brought it up.
Yeah, you open the door for it. She can testify to it, but she can't testify to his drug use and something else I forget. But it was, and now Eddie's coming in full swing now.
Yep, now they're bringing Eddie.
Yep, he
because they opened the door like idiots.
Yep. Or maybe
that was Jim Griffin.
Maybe Griffin's having a change of heart, and he's like, maybe if I self-sabotage this, I can prove. Well, I'll just keep accidentally opening doors because I think now
Accidentally on purpose.
Yeah, accidentally on purpose. It's kind of, I was like, that's me giving, that's like the best benefit of the doubt I can give to Griffin right there. And that is reaching.
He gets no benefit of the doubt. They call
The problem
When I
is
heard-
with
oh, I'm
this. Oh, sorry. No, you were talking first. Go ahead. That was
you
rude
were
of
the
me.
guest.
But
go
you were
right ahead,
talking
Miss Madam.
first. No, you talk first. I'll remember what I was going to say. You go ahead. I
don't
insist.
even know. I truly, and I'm not even joking. I don't even remember. It couldn't have been that important. Jim was. I
The
was just
affair came out, by the way, too. That
Yep.
Alex had an affair 15 years ago, and that Maggie couldn't let it go, which that happens a lot, you know. But he was like, that happened 15 years ago. Like, give me something else.
But you know what? Hurt is hurt is hurt is hurt. So I don't want to poo-poo her feelings on that because I mean, knock on wood, thank God. So far, my husband has decided not to do anything like that. But I don't know. I'm a petty bitch. I'd probably hold on to that shit too. Not gonna lie to you.
I might.
Well, I think she probably started seeing similar patterns in his behavior that she witnessed 15 years ago, right before finding out. Like he was acting fishy. Like maybe her senses were up, and her fear was maybe an affair because, you know, it's kind of like it was 15 years ago. Like this, I'm having deja vu.
Well,
right.
In terms of Maggie, you know, wondering about Alex's behavior and worrying that he's not telling her everything, and she's worried, you know, just concerned because
she was definitely sensing shadiness. He was definitely, she knew he was keeping things from her.
Will you guys talk about the little detective? Do you remember that? You don't remember? Okay. Paul, they called Paul the little detective. That was
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because he would sniff out the pills that his dad. So apparently it was no great secret that dad had a problem, that Alex had a problem with the prescription.
It usually isn't in families, like in the immediate family.
Right, right.
Usually they know.
But apparently they called him the little Paul, the little detective, because if there was something to be found, he would be the one to go around and look for it or try and find it. He was the one that could see, you know, his dad. What did they say? His dad was in trouble. No, something. I don't remember what they used for that, but yeah, it made me feel really bad for him. It truly made me feel bad for him.
I'm glad you said that, because in my head, my thought would be like, I could see, no offense, and I'm not saying this as an attack at Paul, but I could also see him, like, after a few beers going to swipe some of his dad's meds, like, or just.
Interestingly enough, though, at the time of autopsy, he had nothing in his system but caffeine.
He had nothing in his, right? Okay. But I just wondered,
also,
you know.
Let me state this as a. Trying to be careful how I word this, but someone I love dearly, their drink of choice would never be my drink of choice because it's their drink of choice. Does that make sense? Like, I can drink anything I want to, but I can't drink that. I wonder, and I'm just suggesting, I don't know Paul at all, but I'm wondering if maybe that was not his forte. So he wouldn't, you know, he might smoke pot, he might do this, he might do that, he might drink. But, you know, when you see your dad go through that, a parent, whatever, like, that's the last thing you're going to grab. You might do other things, but like.
That makes sense. That's like a criminality moment, getting me to think, okay, I needed that. Thank you.
But sometimes, and there are
sometimes
cases
the apple
like
doesn't
this.
fall far from the tree either. So
correct. Sometimes you can see it in your parent and say you'll never, and then you end up.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Especially with pills. Pills are much easier, and only because, like, there was that whole period in the early 2000s, late 90s, right, where they had gone around the country, the United States, and they were they were overhauling how people were treated in the emergency room for pain management. Because I mean, people were coming in like in real pain because they had real serious injuries and not being given pain medication.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of just correcting it a little, they went the whole other route. But then there became that whole like not phenomenon, because chronic pain has always existed, but the chronic pain management clinic started up.
Mm-hmm.
And so that opened up a whole other bunch of doors. Pills, like you can have the best of intentions when you're prescribed them. And, you know, before you know it, your body is already dependent on it because of what's in it. But then it's a slippery slope.
Okay.
You know, like where you learn, I'll just say it for myself. I will tell you, if I was upset about something, and I mean really upset, not just, you know, somebody gave me a dirty look at Walmart. People are always giving, nothing like that, like actually just stressed out and upset. What I learned is 1 hydrocodone helps the back pain. 2 hydrocodones help all the pain, every pain, any pain, including emotional.
Yep.
And that's what happens. And you don't realize you're doing it.
I couldn't agree more. I told you that prior to my knee surgery, I went to a pain clinic. I had to. I was bone on bone. I was in dire straits, and they would not operate on me because I was too young. So instead, they wanted to keep me on drugs. And finally, I was like, you know, my doctor was like, I can't wait any longer. You're a hot mess. And then I realized a year after, I was still taking Oxy, but it was 4:00 and it was just time for an Oxy. It wasn't because I was in pain. It was just like,
you just don't realize it. It becomes a habit for you.
Mm-hmm. And it was time. And it was time to enjoy the rest of the evening. And it was time to get things done. And it was, you know, and I was like, literally holy sheep shit. It was a moment. And I was like, I cannot. And I the next morning I called my doctor. I said, under no circumstances I don't care what happens to me. Do not prescribe a thing to me.
It's hard. I mean, look, when I had my back surgery, okay, my youngest daughter was 2. I was working full time and going to school for full time. And my husband has always worked the type of business that he's in. It's a 24/7 business. So his hours are not set. I never knew when he was going to be home. And especially in the summertime, it's late. So I was doing everything. And I did not follow the doctor's orders. I was supposed to rest and heal from the surgery. Well, you can't rest and heal from surgery when you have 4 children. It's impossible. You can't. I couldn't. And so what I would do is I would take a hydrocodone, wait for the pain to go down. And the other thing is they actually tell you when you're recuperating from a surgery to take your pain medication as scheduled, because once that pain gets to a certain level, it's almost impossible to get it under control again.
LFT, so what did I just say to you? You got to get ahead of the pain. Pain. That's what they tell you.
They want you to keep on schedule. So that's exactly what I did. And then, because of the time period of when I had it, I was given Soma as well. So the hydrocodone would hype me up. I would get everything done that I was needed to get done. I did all my schoolwork. I had the house cleaned, the dinner done, the kids bathed. Everything was fine. Nobody would know. And when everybody was asleep, and I knew they were asleep, I would call my husband and I would say, are you about to be on your way home? And he would say, yes. And I'd say, how far out are you? And if he was within 30 minutes, I would take a Soma. Because I knew that I had about 30 minutes between the swallowing of the Soma, between that and the Soma coma kicking in.
Yep.
Look, I'm being brutally and bluntly, completely honest here. That's how it works. People don't, if you've never been on pain medication, you don't understand.
And I understand what you're saying about the time, about knowing the timing. of when you're going to peak, when you're going to hit that moment of no pain. Everything you're saying is resonating with me so very clearly, and I appreciate you being open and honest about it, because it's allowed me to be open and honest about it. I didn't struggle as long as several others did, but it was terrifying nonetheless to realize that I was dependent on something that I didn't even know I was. And by the way, my doctor was totally and 100% encouraging it. 100%.
It's hard. And for me, I didn't have the correct procedure done. I had a herniated disc. I was disc on disc. There was no that squishy thing in between. So and it was at the L5. What I needed was a fusion, but my doctor said, you just turned 30. I'm not doing a fusion on a 30-year-old.
Right.
So what he did was a discectomy, laminectomy. But he said it's not going to last. It won't last forever. You will end up needing to have a fusion. And he's right. The back pain has now gone from the L5 and it's gone up my back. It's now to the middle of my back. And I have scoliosis because of it.
I'm so sorry.
I'm in pain all the time. Do you know what I take? Nothing, because I'm scared. Now I'm scared.
Because yes, I have to say, I echo Tia. Thank you so much for sharing, because I think it helps to humanize something that can. The truth is, this could happen. I mean, in terms of becoming very dependent or used to having, some sort of prescription drug. That's
right.
That could happen to anybody. I mean, that I don't mean to say just like, doesn't make you a bad, like, it's a very real thing. And sometimes I think for a minute, I'm glad you said that, because for a minute I just was like, that's just such a sucky excuse for Alec. Like,
People
I don't understand how many normal, average house folk have. You don't realize.
You don't realize. And the thing of it is, you trust, and the doctor isn't doing it. He or she is doing it for your benefit, but you trust your doctor. And so if the doctor tells you, look, these are the pain medications, this is how you're to take them, and you do exactly what he said. For me, it was a he. I did exactly what he said, and I felt better. I realized I had a problem when I was past, how you have the 90-day universal care, so you can continue to see your doctor or whatever for free. When we moved in between that, and I had packed a bag with like everybody's overnight stuff, everybody's toothbrushes and toothpaste and all that stuff, PJs and all that. And I went to get into that bag because it was time for bed, and I was looking for the Soma and I couldn't find it, and I freaked the fuck out. That's when I knew I had a problem. I did find it, by the way, but I knew, and I knew I had a problem. Did I still take the Soma that night? I sure did. Yes, I did. I'd moved all fucking day. I was exhausted and my back hurt. I took a Soma and I went to bed, but I never got my prescription filled after that. I just quit.
Well, that makes me think too about the way you were like putting it and like humanizing it in that kind, in a very human perspective, and realizing that no one is immune to this kind of thing. When you think about, I guess that kind of speaks to Alec's personality as well. Him being kind of scattered, always busy, fidgeting, but that could be like why I think that goes in hand too, maybe with his, I could see maybe using something to help him calm down, or to make, he's so anxious about everything that he's doing. Of course, that, like you said, you're numb. Nothing now. I don't hurt. Right? Like, it would be. So I think it kind of fits with what he was involved in. It was almost like a way to self-medicate and to deal with everything else he had going on. Because
pain medication, what pain medication is made of, and I'm not talking about acetaminophen, because I promise you will not get the same effect if you go take a Tylenol. But what it reacts with in your brain chemically, which is what causes you to become dependent on it, is it reacts to your dopamine receptors. So you feel the warm and fuzzies all over. So not only is your pain down, which also helps your personality. Nobody is fun when they're in pain. And there are days, sometimes even now still, that the pain is bad enough where it's almost all I can think of. But when you get the warm and fuzzies from the pain medication, everything that you're doing, you're okay with. You know what I mean? So, but Alec he's too thin for me. We talked about this last night. He doesn't have that sober bloat.
Right.
Do I think that he probably did take pills? I do. Do I think that he was a pill popper? I do not. I think that his drug of choice, if you will, was alcohol. That's what I think.
I agree.
And you can go to rehab for alcohol too. So I don't, maybe he said the term opiates because so many people, there is an opioid crisis in our country, and people can relate and they can resonate with that. And more people understand it because it's, something your doctor gives to you. I never I didn't buy him off of the street, and I never thought, oh, hey, I'm out of my pain meds, let me, do some heroin. That was never a thought of mine. But I do know what it's like to be a functioning addict. Nobody would have ever known just looking at me.
Right.
I had everything together. The kids were always well dressed. They were all clean. They were all happy. Or so I thought. I can't, I looked at it as I have responsibilities. My kids come first, then my job, then my school. That's how it was. And it's impossible to do all of those things 2 weeks out of back surgery.
I agree.
But I couldn't let my house get out of control. My older kids, they were older, yeah, but they weren't old enough to be really, helpful in that way. It's like, it's not like they could make dinner or anything. You know what I mean? They were still young. So
I don't know if you've seen the chat. Have you been watching the chat at all?
Yes, everybody's been incredibly supportive, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
They've also been telling their own war stories, if you will. And first of all, let me just say thank you for being open and honest.
Yes.
And sharing, because I think it's important. It also allowed me to be more comfortable to share as well. So I do always appreciate that.
Thank you.
You really have no idea how much that means to me, because it is something I do keep under wraps. It's not something I talk about.
I don't either, and I don't know what made me talk about it tonight. I usually don't talk about it because people do. It has a stigma to it, and it's YouTube, and I know how the game is on YouTube. People can be very cruel, but I'm not. I
just appreciate
it is what it is.
I appreciate what you said. Oh, hold on, Allie. I gotta highlight her comment here because I also appreciate Tattoos coming in and speaking, and we'll be obviously Allie, Needy. There's so many people that are speaking to one another, to us here, but also speaking to one another in the chat about their struggles. And I just want to say thank you to them, because just having this conversation, yes, we're talking about Murdaugh here, but being able to, like LFT said, humanize it and relate makes it different for me. In
a weird way, I want to say just to you, to Tia, and to Jen Lou, and to everyone in chat that's commenting. In a weird way, I'm just like, God, I just admire y'all even more now, because I think it just, the way you all carry yourselves, in that you address something that you've dealt with that's such a big issue for many, 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 many people today. And I'm proud. I hope it doesn't, don't ever let it take anything away from you, because I think it speaks to who y'all are. And I admire the hell out of you guys.
Aww. Well, the chat, you guys have been great. Tia, LFT, Kate, you guys, everybody's been great. Most of us, I think, in this community are actually decent people, really actually decent people. I think it's just a few that aren't, like any other situation. I don't really care to focus on the few. I'd rather,
There's so
focus
many
on.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think and I was telling Brittany J this earlier today in her chat, that I do think that the good people on YouTube far exceed any of the negative people by like a ton. I just think that sometimes you just end up focusing on the negative people sometimes, because you're just like, what the fuck?
Well, and sometimes the negative people are a little louder.
Yeah.
A little louder.
Yeah,
So
but my ignore game is pretty strong.
I'm getting there. And I appreciate that. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody really quick. Sidebar note on that. Thank you to everyone who's been so kind in chat and so supportive to each other and to us. I think it's really important. And I'm really, sorry, not sorry. I'm not sorry that we got off topic. I'm really kind of thrilled that we did. I'm really grateful.
And I actually wanted to tell y'all one quick thing too. I just checked, and Jen, I know you check it at Jen Lou. You're subscribed and check it a lot too. Fitz News has like the update from today, from the 14th, and there's some awesome pictures, some different angles of the kennels and all the stuff included.
Good.
And yes, you gotta like. I'm like, hey, anyone else who's hey.
Hey,
it's news.com. Y'all go check it out. It's a lot of reading, but there's some brilliant information within this.
And we didn't get to the gears tonight, but we're going to do it. We'll probably do it tomorrow night because it's no big deal.
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
I wanted to hear about the gears, man.
Listen, I'm not sorry. I'm thrilled. This was an incredible panel, but what I want to do is make sure that you have enough time to get your shit together.
Oh, I'm already together. I've been doing it this whole time we've been talking.
All right, because everybody from here is going over to Jen Lou's for the roast tonight. She's cooking up a roast.
Yeah, I am.
I just thought of something that I wanted to ask though real fast. I wanted to put this out here, food for thought, till we speak again. Everyone talks about Alec, how often he's on his phone, always, even if he's sitting in the office, there's always phone usage, fiddling with it. I would put dollars to donuts when he sat down to take a nap after dinner, quote unquote, take a nap after dinner. I am surprised he didn't, peek his phone. I think I kind of want people to let that marinate, like watch the usage and the movement of his phone when he's typically, remember, always on it. And then the moment they're gone, the moment that activity ends, or there's no outgoing activity really on Maggie and Paul's phone. Once again,
Alec is calling the whole world.
Alec's phone activity wakes back up all of a sudden, and he's back into that normal. He's clearly using it. It's fun, like making different calls, the steps. I just thought about that though, because I was like, is his phone activity a little more subdued because he's napping, or is it because he is doing something else? And you're just going to tell me he woke up and then it happens to align with the lack of usage of Paul and Maggie's phone activity and usage. Well,
I want to go back and re-listen to the timeline as far as when he took a nap, because I suspect that part of that napping time was spent down at the kennel. We know I want to know what he says, what time he says he woke up from his nap. Because if I'm remembering correctly, he said he woke up from his nap and texted Maggie and said he was going to go to M's, obviously Mom's.
Yeah.
Which I always find some people that do the weird short texts like that. Like, okay, it's 2022. Well, then it was 2021. All right, it's 2023 now. But they haven't charged per character in decades. You can go ahead and write the word mom or mama or whatever you call your mom. But you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's weird to me. Never understood that. Just type the fucking word out. If you hit the box enough, it'll type it for you.
Well, that was the thing with my kids. I was like, never, ever, ever use you are you. You will type the word out.
Yep.
And sure as shit, one day my daughter came home from school and she was like, oh my God, a girl did a whole presentation in high school and she had you are, and the teacher like, and I was like, see, like, this is
that
why
would
I make you
annoy
do
me.
these things.
That would just drive me bananas.
Mhm.
He texted Maggie at 9:08:58 saying he was going to check on mom. I believe that's correct. I'm looking at my spreadsheet.
Interesting. Why would you need to be texting her that, sir, when you were at the kennels with her 10 minutes earlier?
And he
Right.
was at his mom's house way earlier than that. He went there at like 8 o'clock and was there for like 10 minutes.
He said, well, the
According
damnedest
to
thing is that he told Officer Green that he'd been at his mom's for about an hour and a half and had seen and saw Maggie and Paul about 40 minutes before. It was before that, 45 minutes.
Now, I'll
according
say
to mom's
this.
caretaker, he showed up around 8 and he stayed for 10 minutes and left.
Yeah.
Here's my thing with the hour and a half. I can't even believe I'm doing this, but I'm curious if Alec is taking into account the entire time, including the drive there and the drive there, spending time with mom, and then the drive back. Because mom and dad's house is 20 minutes away?
16 minutes. Yep.
16
Mhm.
minutes. But even, okay, so 16 and 16 is 36,
Mhm.
right? Plus
Mhm.
the 20 minutes. So that's right at an hour. A little less than an hour. So you're still off on your times, Mr. Murdaugh.
He
I just
can't.
want you
off
to
on-
know.
The timeline is the thing that's going to hang him up.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that, and going through it and learning with you guys has been amazing, because that's the thing that trips me up. And I just went through it with LFT as far as when we were going to talk about the gears, in park, out of park, in park, out of park, where he is, where he's going.
I think the no blood on his shirt is going to be a big, like,
Really?
Yeah, because that is like, to me, like, even though it's not, it's like lack of evidence, it says a lot. You know what I mean? He's
Yes.
supposedly,
Mhm. Well, sometimes what did they say? Lack of evidence is the bigger.
yeah, like he
speaks
checked their
for-
pulses. He tried to turn Paul over when Paul's like brain was that. Sorry,
I know. No, I
like,
get it.
There's no way. There's no way. He's clean as a whistle and doesn't have a speck of blood on him. No way.
Meanwhile, though, and this is the other thing, he's out of those kennels, which he said he never was at. That's a problem, just on its face, just generally speaking. But Bubba had a chicken in his mouth, okay? And I talked about this before. When a dog has something, my mom, I grew up with labs. We had a yellow lab named Seamus. There was one time my mom called me. This is after I was a grown-up and had kids. Called me and said, Jen, you've got to come over to the house. I said, Mom, what's going on? She said, Seamus has that, just like this. Seamus has that goddamn rawhide bone and he won't let it go. And I was like, all right, Mom. So I get in the car and I go over to my mom's, which is like a 15-minute drive. And I said, where is he? And she said, he's in the backyard. I said, all right. I walked in that backyard. I looked at Seamus. Seamus looked at me. I said, Seamus, drop it. He spit that thing right out. Just, that's it. No big deal.
Right.
But somebody had to wrestle that. Somebody had to get it away from Bubba and clean him up after, because he would have had blood on him.
Mm-hmm.
Feathers everywhere.
Mm-hmm. I think Alex sounded like he was calling Bubba, trying to get Bubba to come his direction. And then the only thing I can tell, the only thing that I think about when I listen to that now is just the distance, like you said, the travel of sound. And
unless the dog was like gently holding it, but I don't know. They're hunting dogs, so.
This is what I think. I think the hose I just thought of it just now.
mm-hmm.
I think the hose is running because we're all assuming that Bubba had the chicken currently in his mouth by the kind of the context of the conversation. What if they'd already gotten the chicken out of Bubba's mouth and they're just telling Alec about it? That's why the hose is running. And
so
Alec is
they-
like, oh, it's already running. It's already going to be wet out here. We're down a chicken. This is my chance.
Damn, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that now. Hey, shh. We're
Because
animal friends.
he is like, he's chastising Bubba. Like they're telling him something
Mhm.
that already happened. Like the situation has been resolved. The chicken has been removed and now they're cleaning up.
That is an interesting.
Well, Maggie sounded like, oh, ew, he's got a chicken, but then, or ew, he's got a bird, and then they're like, then it got really calm. I'm like, oh, it's just a chicken. Like they didn't.
But
the guys
if,
were like,
if
yeah,
Bubba
mom.
had it, but think about it. These are hunting dogs. Okay.
Yeah.
If Bubba had that chicken right then, all the dogs would be barking. There would have been chaos, and it wasn't like that. It was quiet. I think the situation had been resolved. I think Maggie walked up to the dead chicken. Know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It had already been gotten out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I think
now
I
I'm
need
thinking-
to re-listen
hose
to that.
I need to think more through. I'm thinking about that. I'm literally thinking about that hose and car movements right this second.
That's
back of my
exactly,
mind.
you know.
And I would love, because I want to do the roast and stuff, and think a little bit more, like try to find a way to visualize or like kind of show like the hose thing. I'm glad that someone else is like, there could be some significance to that that just makes me feel less like
I am
really
so
finding out-
damn glad you said something about that in the first place. I really am. I love when I'm wrong. And I'm not kidding. This is not being like, I'm not being sarcastic, you guys. Like, I love when I'm wrong. And I love when she's right, because I always learn something new. And I walk away going, damn, she's good. Damn, she's good.
That's why it's good to have these panels, because we all hear things differently and we all put different weight on different pieces of evidence. And there were a lot of people in that law and crime chat today that were like, what's the point of Dale's testimony? And I was thinking to myself, because you can't just act ratchet at the law and crime chat, they don't play. And so I wasn't going to say anything, but my brain was like, what do you mean what's important about this? Are we watching the same thing?
Right.
Oh,
Like
the rooster was another time.
Yeah.
The rooster was a separate incident.
Correct. The rooster teased the dogs. And that's where I came up with my thought process tonight about perhaps this had been a situation that was currently in the process of being resolved, meaning they had unasked the chicken from Bubba's mouth, because I remember Dale when he testified about the rooster story, and he said they were barking and they were aggravating him to death. And remember, when they were out there, Officer Green all those dogs were barking. They were all barking, and they were crying too. Broke my heart. But that's why I just say nice things, MK, and just keep it moving. I don't even address the ridiculous comments in there anymore, because I see that they get them, they're blocked and whatnot. So I'm just like, I'm not even going to address it, because sometimes some comments are just not worth it. But that's what made me think about it, is thinking about Dale and the hose.
The hose thing.
That will never not be funny to me. I'm sorry.
And
I'm always going to be the fifth grader in the room laughing at those.
and he came back that next morning, and then I know that Sled wanted to talk to him, and this is the part I'm not completely clear on when they wanted to talk to him. I think it was pretty quickly, but he asked if he could take care of the dogs first, because they were upset.
Oh.
They needed to eat. He wanted to take care of the dogs. They were upset. He wanted them to quiet down. But hunting dogs are hunting dogs. This I do know. And they do get riled up when one of their compadres catches the prey. And in this case, it was the chicken. So they would have been riled up if Bubba had that chicken in his mouth.
I think
And then-
Creighton is nervous to put Eddie on the stand too. I think Eddie's. I was just watching a video of Eddie walking from like the van to the jail, and he's like,
Oh, Eddie,
I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be good when he comes on.
I
Mhm.
think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just schedule the stream, right? And
Mhm.
just go live as soon as I know that Eddie's going to be on the stand. That way it'll already be out there. And if you
Mhm.
guys will just turn your notifications on, it'll just continue to say waiting until I actually go live. But StreamYard will hold the stream, and it'll still send notifications out when I go live. That way you'll be sure to be notified. If I wait until Eddie's testifying and then start a stream, you probably won't get notified.
I
So
think
that's maybe what
smart.
I'll do.
Yeah, that's a
Do
great
that,
idea.
and we'll share it. And everybody go in, and what you do is you like it first, and then you hit the notification. Notify me when she goes live, and when she goes live, we'll all get the notification. That's brilliant. Actually, that's really brilliant.
Yeah, this way we can enjoy Cousin Eddie the way he was meant to be.
Oh, please.
They're not thinking like tomorrow, are they? It would be.
I think so. That's what they
I
sounded
think-
like.
I
Mhm.
think Kate might be right. And the reason why is I think they were on the fence about whether they were going to put Eddie up on the stand. But after today's shenanigans, now I know they're going to put him on the stand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because they
were saying,
talked
like,
about
hold
it.
back the jury. Like they were saying, like,
Hmm.
and then it almost sounded like they were thinking about doing it today, and then they were like, "No, we'll wait till tomorrow." I'm pretty sure. I'm like I feel like I'm like 80% sure Eddie's coming.
I'm going to go 82.
Yeah.
Okay.
About 82%. Now, they do have something they have to talk about in the morning. They're going to, and then they've got, I know they have a witness. That witness wasn't available today for some
Yeah.
reason.
Oh, they said
So
that's
that'll-
right. I remember hearing
I
that.
think they're starting at like 10:30, like later or something.
Yeah, because they want to argue some stuff.
yeah.
Like against their own side? Are we opposing the
Yeah,
defense?
like
Is
what-
defense
what
opposing
can we-
prosecution, or defense opposing defense? Like what?
Oh, defense. The defense.
When you can't pick a side where you're
The defense is trying to take back all the shit that they messed up today.
The next thing you know, Mr. Harp is going to be like, "I want my own table, please. Can I be seated at a table just by myself?"
Mr. Harp, look at the Harpoo wants to quit. You know he does.
Oh my God.
You know he there was a couple times today I've thought he's going to say it. He's just going to say it. He's going to say, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." That's what I was waiting for. Especially
He
when
must
Jim was
toss
up
the
there at the
papers.
podium,
Yes.
and here comes the poot. I'll do it.
The papers are going to fly. He's just going to toss them as he walks right through that little half door there. And he's going to say, "Fuck it, I'm out. Peace."
Yeah.
You know what? The defense should do a pre-recorded video because they keep getting kind of tripped up. They have to go live. And I think if they could just say, "Judge, can you just roll the footage? We wanted to make sure we did this correctly and didn't, trip over our own
keep
feet."
hearing
And if
Alex
we'll just
might
hit play
testify
on that
too.
real fast. We've got it right there, and we don't have to say a word.
Yes.
Just-
I keep waiting for the poot to just do that one that, when the judge says, "Is there anything we need to address in the morning?" I keep waiting for him to stand up and be like, "The poot is out."
MK
leave.
said there's so much good comedic material. Listen, I agree. This is how I look at the community on YouTube, and I swear to God, the entire community is an SNL skit. I swear. This entire community is nothing but an SNL skit. And every time something happens, I'm like, "Oh, I wonder who would play that person."
This is why I do the roast.
Yeah, and when MK just said this, I was like, I get it. Like, I get you're not taking anything away from the tragedy, but I also get the humor in some of this stuff because
Right. I'm not making listen, when I do these roasts, it's not me. I recognize the seriousness of the crime. I'm not roasting or making light of the crime that was committed. What I'm doing is a commentary on the human behavior, which
Right.
I find hilarious at times. And other times I find reprehensible, and I talk shit about that too. I'm an equal opportunity shit talker. For real.
I love
Emily
that.
Baker was hyped today. She was cracking up. She was like,
so good.
she was freaking out. I was watching her and she had me dying. She was like, no, oh my God.
Oh, the doctor?
Emily D. Baker, the lawyer.
Oh, Emily. Oh, I'm sorry.
Every defense
Oh.
attorney around the world today was like, "What are you
I
doing?"
know. I was watching Emily and she was, I mean, she was freaking. She was like, I can't wait to see what everyone has to say about this tonight. Oh my God.
I love it when it gets
She's like,
real.
I'm going here. I'm going here. I can't wait to hear lawyer, I can't wait to hear this.
Oh my
She was
God.
I
hyped.
know. You guys,
But-
thank you so much. And Seth, thank you for subbing. I appreciate that. That's very kind.
Oh, hey, Seth.
That's really sweet of you, right? Like some lady got on the stand and said, okay, first of all, this is not right, but Sam Kinison, I just played Sam Kinison for LFT not that long ago. It was the guy that yelled that he said, move to where the fucking food is.
Oh yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
desert. Do you know what I'm talking?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes.
Like,
Now I
you
remember.
live in the
Yeah.
desert. Move to where the fucking food is.
Yes, I did. Now, okay, it's coming back to me now in like a hard flashback. But yes, I do know what you're talking about.
Oh my God, that just made me like MK. I just adore you. You bring in the humor for me. Everybody, please hit the like button. Thank this beautiful panel and subscribe to these wonderful women who are up here, these brilliant ladies.
Yes.
Kate Does Crime, Jen Lu. Jen Lu's going live. She's doing her roast. I don't even want to say any more other than she's doing a roast. It has the word
roast.
Murdaugh in it. Dick Murdaugh.
Also,
It's a barbecue.
please,
It's a
everybody that
BBQ.
goes over there to listen, take a moment to appreciate that thumbnail. I have Alex with his shirt up.
Oh, that's just wrong.
We need to find that video of Eddie doing that. It was so funny. He just turned Eddie like,
Oh gracious.
my
My eyes.
I'll find
Shirtless.
it. Don't you worry, Kate. I got
I
you.
was laughing so hard. I'm like, this dude's gonna be good. Like, I hope they bring him up.
All right, I gotta go because I'm about to. I just
About
have
to
to
go
go. I'll
live.
see you guys
All
over
right.
there. All right.
right.
Yes, yes. Thank
Go
you.
check
Kimberly.
out. Yes, thank you, Jen, and thank you, Kate, for coming up on such short
Yes.
notice and
Thanks for
explaining.
having
I
me.
really appreciate that. You have given me food for thought, even though there's no door there.
Yeah,
I
well,
still think your friend's right that the shots came from the inside.
I think so too. It just I can't unless I mean it would have been hard I think for him to be outside in those shells to get
On the
in there.
inside, right?
Yeah,
That's what I
like
think.
it
too.
it would be weird I think for them to get where they were.
I agree.
Girl.
You guys, thank you so much for. Wait, hold on? Let me. Oh, thanks, CB Cal. You're amazing.
Oh.
Thanks for being here again tonight. Did anyone see the interview with the call girl Alex was? Yes. And we will hit on that. We will touch on that subject another night. Thank you, Kate Grace. Thank you, everyone, for being so kind tonight and for your support. We really
will put together the shifting gears thing or try to map that out for y'all.
Yeah, listen, if you can get Jen Lu and Kate on a panel, I'm going to stop everything.
You
to
shift
do it.
gears. You shift gears and you go with the flow. And it works out a lot better.
Damn straight you do. Damn straight. So thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you guys so much, and thank you for being so open, being so open and honest as well, and being kind to each other, and making it safe here. That more than anything, I appreciate that. Go to your favorite creator, like and hit, or make a comment on all their videos. Tell them you love them, and we love you, and we will probably see you tomorrow. But right now, I want you to exit stage left and go to Jen Lu, the board case studies, and hang out over there and have a good laugh because we all need that. You guys take care. Have a great night.
There. Bye.
See y'all in a few minutes. Thank you again. Thanks, Kate.